First day on the job. Oh boy. What's on today's to-do list? Recruit operators? Makes sense since we're short right now. Cool. Vanguards. Wow, she looks like she won't be annoying. Some defenders. Huh. She looks pretty cool. Alright, so my next operator should be... That's a high schooler. When she was first released with all the starter 6 stars, Angelina was hastily notated as the worst 6 star to start out with in many communities. Despite this harsh judgment early in the game, she has quickly risen and proven herself in multiple contingency contracts, which are known to be the hardest events in the game. Why did players see her this way? How is she good? In this video, I'll showcase her kit and usage over time in order to truly examine Angelina, best girl. Angelina is the supporter operator of the slower archetype, meaning her attacks will provide a sluggish effect on the enemy, slowing them for 0.8 seconds. Sluggish is different from other movement speed debuffs because it cannot be stacked on top of itself. This means two supporter slower operators attacking the same enemy will not provide a sluggish debuff twice as powerful. You can, however, stack sluggish with pure movement speed reduction such as Manticore or Frostleaf's first skill. Slow is definitely a niche Angelina has under her very many belts, but her talents also provide some small but useful additions to the team. Her first talent, Acceleration Field, buffs all ally attack speed on the map by 7 at Elite 2 with an extra 1 attack speed at Potential 6. Remember that summons are included in the word ally and that attack speed and attack interval are two different things. Now, this may seem like a simple talent at first, but to any Arknight sweat, this talent is a living nightmare. That extra 1 attack speed has been known to break max risk strategies. There's a specific strategy in Contingency Contract Cinders that involves Weighty Skill 2, attack cancelling the Sarkaz Grudge Bearers. Now, Angelina is required to help Weighty sync with the casters, but that evil little last potential can upset the tick timing. Yes, Arknights runs on 30 ticks per second and attacks only operate on whole ticks, making the... If this entire thing makes no sense, just know that Angelina makes Weighty's attack interval a little too fast and her attacks will not sync, causing the caster dudes to clap them to death. This whole situation is amusing to me because it means you can actually pay to lose in Arknights. So whales who want max potential in every operator now need another account specifically with Potential 5 Angelina. For 99.99% of the situations though, it's just a general nice attack speed buff that all your operators and drones get to enjoy. Her second talent, unlocked at Elite 2, heals all allies on the map when her skill is down. This talent is considered passive healing, and since summons can't be healed through normal means, Angelina provides some extra survivability to drones. Operators such as Vulcan, Mudrock, or Helliger can also be healed by this talent. Although it's a very small niche, this global passive healing definitely has its upsides, especially in poison maps where the nasty damage over time fog can be an issue. Both of Angelina's talents only go into effect when she is placed on the map, so you can't just shove her into a squad and expect a free global heal and an attack speed buff. Hey Angelina, can you take this package to...
Okay.
Man, every day I see Angelina working as hard as she can. She's so fun to use as an operator. Maybe I should reward her one day to show her my appreciation. Angelina's first skill, Arcane Staff Speed Charge Mode, is a 10 SP attack recovery skill with 35 seconds of an additive 110% attack boost that is activated automatically. Now, we can go on an entire debate on the effects of automatic skills and strategies, but it doesn't really matter because her first skill is barely used. The only reason I can think of why you genuinely want to use a skill is because you're doing an AFK strategy and you just need her there for the global healing. Otherwise, a consistent single target slow isn't very useful unless you're in CC beta and you're stalling Avengers. Other than that, I haven't seen many situations where it would perform better over her other skills. Arcane Staff Particle Mode targets a single enemy and reduces Angelina's attack and attack interval heavily. It has the downside of her not being able to attack while the skill is down, but that's not usually an issue if you have decent timing. The skill also has a 67% uptime, so most of the time it's going to be up anyways. 15 SP for a 30-second duration skill makes the downtime really low. Oh yeah, remember Angelina's trait that makes her slow enemies with her attacks? Well, this is what happens when you reduce her attack interval this hard. The enemy barely gets to move. This lasts for 30 seconds by the way. This super single target slow is a defining reason why Angelina is used in Contingency Contract a lot. Low downtime, good damage, and big slow make it the perfect skill for slowing bosses or dangerous enemies. Angelina's third skill provides her a major power spike at Elite 2. Expanded range, big attack boost, and great multi-target make this an amazing skill that feels good to use with the obvious downside that she doesn't do basic attacks. The skill will demolish enemy waves with correct timing. Anti-gravity mode also does what the name implies. It reduces all enemies' weight by 1, enabling some shifter shenanigans that no other operator can do in the game. Angelina is the only one with this small niche that can heavily impact shifters since weight reduction is significant in terms of shifting. As for how often this skill is up, anti-gravity mode has 50% uptime, which is still really good. This skill was used especially in CC Pyrite, mainly for slowing and dealing some decent damage to the Wraiths and Wraith leaders. It was also used in CC Cinders for the opener to deal with the wave of Sorkaz swordsmen and Sorkaz lancers. The timing was very precise, since slowing the lancers at the last second was necessary to avoid killing Hoshiguma. As you can see, Angelina's main skills are her second skill for heavy single target slowing, and her third skill for general multi-target slowing. Both of these skills do considerable damage too. The most surprising thing I've found when using Angelina is her damage. You wouldn't expect it coming from a supporter, but this girl packs a punch with each of her skills. Albeit she may not be as much of a DPS carry as Aya or Silver Ash, but Angelina still has her merits that get her into high risk CC squads. Her global healing and attack speed talents seem subtle, but can make massive differences in CC. She requires a little finesse and map knowledge in order to maximize her potential because she doesn't attack during downtime, but a decent player should be able to figure out these timings very easily. Angelina started out as the underdog, but she slowly built her reputation with each CC coming as a diamond in the rough, able of solving prominent issues no other operator could. She's also a supporter, by the way, so if there's ever a caster ban and you're in need of arts damage, you can slip her into your squad and watch her shred enemies under the disguise of supporter. And no, I am not biased whatsoever towards her. She was not my first 6-star at all, and I have not had her as my assistant since day one. You have no proof, my lawyers will be in touch. If you've watched my previous videos, you can probably guess how I feel about comparing Angelina and Suzerain. Suzerain's main skill is her third skill, which expands her range and makes her stop attacking, slowing all the enemies and healing every ally in her range. This skill is supposed to synergize with her second talent, which causes enemies to take 40% more damage from ally attacks when her skill is up. A beginner player would summarize that Suzerain and Angelina basically do the same thing, because Suzerain gets more damage off of the enemy through her amplification while slowing them, and Angelina does damage to the enemy while slowing them. This is the stuff that keeps me up at night. The defining difference between the two is their SP costs. Suzerain has a significantly longer downtime than Angelina, making her less reliable when it comes to consistent damage. Also, doing damage and amplifying damage are very different in the first place. However, the Fox Lolly is amazing at helping you get your burst damage in. If you want to try comparing Suzerain's second skill with Angelina's third skill, let me stop you here. First of all, Suzerain's main skill is her third skill, so why would you be using S2 in the first place unless you're stupid like me? Second of all, Suzerain doesn't have the range expansion that Angelina has, but she also doesn't have the downtime. While there are probably situations where you would want Suzerain S2 over Angelina S3, most of the time I'd rather just take Angelina since her skill is more powerful and the downtime doesn't become much of an issue with precise timing. That's the thing I love about Angelina's skills. She heavily rewards timing without feeling too broken. Press her skill buttons nonchalantly and you get a mediocre feel. But with the right timing, she can really shine. Angelina's poor reputation at the start of Arknights probably came from an inexperienced player base at the time trying to pinpoint where she belonged in the meta. However, once players began to understand the mechanics of the game better and realize the small but impactful niches she provided, Angelina became a diamond in the rough. Huh. You can't threaten me into getting risk 22 for CC Pyrite, Amio. Remember when I told Angelina to transport that package? It was actually all your illegal weapons. Now you're weaponless, and I have the high ground. So what are you gonna do? You can't do anything this time. God damn it.